Hi and welcome to our Edison TV interview with Oliver Walker, the CEO of Evolva. I am Sarah Welford. I am one of the consumer analysts at Edison. So let's get straight to it. Welcome, Oliver. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks a lot. Hi, Sarah.
So in terms of our questions, the environment has been volatile over the past 18 months due to the pandemic. Where do you see things settling down? And do you think the pandemic has caused any permanent changes to either Evolva or the industry?
I would say to us, probably a little bit to the positive long term because of health ingredients becoming more and more important over time. In F&F, flavors and fragrances, we have seen a little bit of slowdown of demand. There was actually in Q2 sort of an acceleration again. I think we will get back actually over the midterm anyhow in F&F to full speed like before the pandemic. Health ingredients positive. So, and I think if we look at health protection, this has, however, nothing to do with the pandemic itself. There is a general positive trend, certainly. So net, I would say, should be positive in terms of supply costs or raw material cost, which is a huge concern for a lot of companies. So far, we have not really been impacted. Maybe there will be some increases of prices on the raw material front, but so far, actually, really nothing dramatic, as it looks like our suppliers not having been disrupted by broken supply chain. So in this respect, so far actually all okay.
Great. And there have been a number of profit warnings in the wider consumer industry due to rising raw material costs. Yeah. Is this an area of concern for Evolva?
As I just said, no, not, or at least not yet. Our suppliers do not seem to have suffered from broken, the broken supply chain. So in this respect, we seem to be on a good end actually of things. But it's too early probably to be seen. I mean, the pandemic, respectively, in the wake of the pandemic, there may be still some things coming up. So far, not.
And you've done a lot of work over the past couple of years to upgrade your CMO network as you scale up your products and capabilities. Do you feel this is now complete?
It will never be really complete, right? As companies are growing, adding new products, etc., you have to actually further certainly work your CMO network. But I think there are two very important steps we could undertake, which is, number one, we have internally expanded our set of capabilities to include actually how to really operate equipment. Before we were good in designing processes, but now it's with some specific equipment. So we master actually really now from discovery of any molecules, ingredients, down to scaling up to large scale commercial manufacturing in terms of internal capabilities. And the second is that we could build a set of 3 different suppliers for resveratrol, which is today our primary source of growth. So in this respect, we have actually made really a huge step forward, But as I said, it will never be really done. I mean, as you grow, you have to think of capacity expansion. And if we look at the greater scheme of things, so the industry, we are just at the very beginning, of seeing the fermentation technology really unfolding as a primary sort of avenue to manufacture specialty ingredients, and which means actually there have always to be further expanded capacities, optimization of processes, etc. So it has never ended. But the large part, the larger hurdles we have overcome. Yeah.
And your target is to be cash break even by the end of fiscal 23. As we approach this milestone, what do you think it will mean for the business?
Well, that means that we are cash-wise starting to be independent. I mean, free cash flow is then the year after. It is EBITDA cash break even, right? That's 2023 as we always guided. But I think it's really sort of independence financially starting, and allowing us actually to work a little bit on a different basis. Operationally, cost management wise, we will always remain very strict, certainly, but it will be a little bit easier, certainly. I mean, today we are mastering both. We are investing into building, like as an example, the health protection business, which has a huge potential. At the same time, we have still further optimized the cost base, you know, to make it easier to get to this cash break even. And we have undertaken all the efforts, as we just explained with the last question, on the manufacturing end, you know, to become more cost efficient, starting to see with Q4 a positive gross profit margin unfolding. And yeah, once we are cash break even, so EBITDA break even in the first step by 2023 as guided, that will be the start, you know, to really financial independence, allowing us to probably accelerate growth also, you know, because it will be sort of a validation also of the investment case. Certainly, it is not only the business case. I think that's very much validated already now. But in terms of the investment case, so being able, you know, to do this transition also financially within the time period sort of forecasted, I think that will make also quite of a change for, yeah, capital market participants, financial market participants, but also partners, our business partners, you know, on various fronts.
And when you consider new products, how do you evaluate what to invest behind? So, for example, biosynthesis of cannabinoids seems to be gaining more traction as cannabinoids themselves expand into consumer applications. Could this be an area of interest at all for Evolva?
Yeah, I think it's already quite a crowded area, right? These CBD variants, there are multiple variants out there. I would never say no, certainly, but it's quite a crowded area. And what we are doing is really very diligently selecting what kind of areas, you know, market segments actually we go in, which kind of molecules we are developing, which give us the chance to, how to say, have a reasonably large company target market. That's one. Second, that it's not overcrowded in terms of participants, because we don't want to get, you know, upfront at the beginning into a price war. But second or third is actually differentiation potential, like, you know, with Nucadon for pest control, there is huge differentiation vis-a-vis anyone else being active in that market. And this allows us just to maneuver more easily, you know, in such kind of target markets. And these are a little bit, let's say, our selection criteria. So the size of the market, that it's not overcrowded, that we can actually differentiate from also go-to-market value proposition. That's a bit how we look at it, and therefore CBD is quite crowded. So one would have to focus on a variant, I guess, but there are billions of dollars which are flowing into that area. So I'm always a little bit hesitant, you know, to if there is a big lottery jackpot to be attracted just because it's a big lottery jackpot. There are other areas like resveratrol. I mean, it's an upcoming molecule, still upcoming, will grow faster, and it's not crowded at all. We are actually having clear differentiation. So such kind of market, actually markets we are looking to target also with our future innovations.
Great, that's very clear. Well, thank you very much for giving such a good overview of the company, and thanks for your time.
Very much welcome. Have a good day.